Hey guys, good morning. Eric here with driverlineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holder. If any of you guys ever get a fuel recommendation to go to Love's in Elk City, Oklahoma, I highly recommend not doing it. Because there is Love's almost in 30 miles of each direction, west or east, off I-40. And they're the same damn price. And they're actual truck stops. So this morning at about 0300, pull off there because my fuel recommendation, which, you know, I try to abide by, but sometimes fuel recommendation is not paying attention. Like, you know, if I'm going from SoCal or Vegas up to Wisconsin, Northern Ohio, Northern Indiana, it'll have me going to a TA in Denver, and I ain't going through Denver. I'm going up to Salt Lake City and through Wyoming. So today's one of those lessons learned. I just never been to that Love's in Elk City, and I didn't realize that Love's is basically a gas station. It's not a truck stop. It's got 4 fuel islands that you can get trucks into, but it's not a truck stop. There's no parking. There's really, like, if there's trucks at all 4 islands, it's virtually impossible to even wait in line for any of those islands. And then there's no room in front of the islands, because if you just only pull up to the yellow line after the islands, well, the ass end of your trailer is still in the island. And if you pull further than the line, then you're blocking other trucks from being able to get out. So because of that, I'm having to take a 30-minute break up south of Tulsa, which is annoying as hell because I don't need a break. But, you know, some government regulator seemed to think that I need one. Which, you know, pro tip to government regulators: well, if we need a break, we'll take one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting sidetracked off the title of this video, but they basically acknowledge with the changes in the ALD, they acknowledge that the brake is useless because they didn't want to have the stigma of saying, well, we're going to get rid of the 30-minute break, because everybody'd say, oh, you're not making truck drivers take breaks. So what they did was made it so that you can actually work during your required 30-minute break. They made it so you could do your break on duty. So in other words, you can work your whole break. How's that a break? So they basically acknowledge we don't really need a break, because like I said, if we need to take a break, we'll take a damn break. Anyway, so yeah, Qualcomm. So this little Love's, you know, get off I-40, go to this little Love's in Elk City, and there's no sign. There's no sign that says truck entrance, and it's, you know, 0300, middle of the night, dark. No sign anywhere that says enter here. So I had to guess at it. It was either I continue going straight on this road, which looked dodgy, and it was a 4-wheeler entrance, so I couldn't see if I should enter there, or I make a right onto the service road where there's a hotel next to the Love's, and it looks like there might be a driveway going between the Love's and the hotel that I could get into and circle around to the fuel island. Well, I made the wrong decision. I make that right on the service road, and that entrance goes into a very tiny parking lot with a fence between the parking lot and the Love's. You can't get over the Love's from there. Like I said, there's no truck parking at this Love's, very tiny. So I'm like, oh crap, I can't back out into that big intersection because there's a couple cars going through there. So I go forward on what looks like a service road, only to realize about a quarter mile down the road, as I'm moving like 1 or 2 miles an hour because I'm waiting on Qualcomm, I basically just gave up on that Love's. I'm like, screw it, I'll just have Qualcomm route me back to the 90, and I'll just find fuel down the road, because I'm assuming if it's a service road, I can get back on at the next major road. You know, just continue down a service road, get back on 40 and continue on. Well, so I'm going like 1 or 2 miles an hour waiting on Qualcomm to get me back on route, and then it's telling me to make a U-turn. And if you haven't had Qualcomm tell you to make a U-turn yet, it'll do it. Eventually it's going to happen to you. Qualcomm will tell you to make a U-turn in places where it's impossible to make a U-turn. In fact, most places you shouldn't be making U-turns. I mean, there's some places where you can flip a bitch in a truck, but you know those places. A 2-lane road leading into a residential area is not a place you can make a U-turn. So I just roll through where it tells me to make a U-turn, hit reroute, and as I'm waiting on it to reroute, I'm rolling forward, you know, maybe 10 miles an hour. All of a sudden, the 2 lanes that this little road is becomes 1 lane and much thinner, and now I'm in like a residential area, and branches are starting to hit the trailer. So I'm like, oh boy, this is getting bad. And now this is just my opinion, guys. When you get into a situation that seems like if you continue, it may take a bad situation and make it much worse, you stop. Like that, I stop at that. Don't just think maybe this will work itself out. You stop, figure out where you're at, what your situation is. So I stopped. And I got out my Google Maps, and some of you could say, oh, well, you know, you should have an atlas. I do have a trucker atlas, but it's not going to help you in that situation. There were no truck signs, but it was clearly not designed for me. While I'm trying to pull up my maps, Qualcomm pops up and says, take a left and 0.2 miles. So I roll down this 2 miles. I'm trying to get down this tiny little road, and I see the street sign, and it's pitch black. There's no street lights or anything. You know, this is getting really dodgy. And I start to make a left, and as soon as I can see some of my headlight hit over, I realize that if I had continued like another, and the street looked dodgy anyway, but at this point, you know, I'm kind of like, I'm like half a mile down this road at this point, you know. So as soon as the light starts shining over, I can see that if I had continued another 10 or 15 feet, then the left side of my tires, or my left tires on a trailer, are going to go off into about a 6-foot ditch. Like it's just not possible for me to make that turn. There's no sign or post or anything that I would have hit, but there was a ditch and I would have been off in it. And this load is 31,000 pounds and it's stacked really high. So, you know, not paying attention, I would have went over with the trailer, and it could have been really bad. So I pull up Google Maps, and my options were to either 90-degree alley dock into a church parking lot and try to get out, which that was really dodgy, or continue down the road and turn around in this propane place. The propane place looked to be pretty good if it had no gates. I went down the road. Propane place was closed, but it didn't have any gates, so I was able to turn around in there, go back to that Love's, and then I get fuel and everything. I go sit in front of it. I'm at 22 minutes. There's nowhere to park or move, and this flatbed behind me comes up and says, man, I got to get out of here. I got 15 minutes to go 15 miles. So I had to freaking move and be considerate for him, and therefore I'm now here taking a 30-minute break because I didn't finish it there. So life on the road, guys. Jenna's back, so I'll finish. Like, my dog's going nuts there. Jenna's back, so I'll give you guys an update in a little while, but that's life out here, man. Just be really, really careful. Don't ever rely on Qualcomm. It'll run you into some bad situations. You missed the whole story. She just woke up, so she didn't know any of that happened. But you can't always trust Qualcomm, can you? No. You can't see her, but she says no. So yeah, I didn't get to take my 30-minute break there. I was 7 minutes shy. I had to move on because there was just nowhere for me to move to. I just had to pull right onto the main street to help that flatbedder. Man, that sun just came up, annihilated my eyes. So I did end up getting fuel there, but I wasn't able to finish my 30-minute break. So now here we are sitting here getting a 30-minute break just to get my clock back, which is just stupid. But it is what it is. So anyway, that's my update. Didn't end up in a ditch and was able to turn around. I'm actually glad I didn't try to 90 dock into that church parking lot, a 90-degree alley dock, because there was a ditch across the street from that church too. So my steers probably would have ended up in that ditch when I tried to get underneath my trailer. And like I said, it was just pitch black back there. You couldn't see anything. So I was just very lucky that that propane place didn't have gates, and I was able to pull into its lot and flip a bitch in there. But yeah, like I said, if you guys Google Maps, even though it's not really a trucker friendly app, you can always just stop the truck, put your four-ways on, and look ahead to see if there's going to be somewhere that has enough room for you to turn around. You know, just stop the truck. Don't continue on and make your situation worse. So All right, guys, new update coming soon. We'll check back in with you in a little while. Thanks. Be safe. Make good decisions, and